Alrighty, guys, time for our first SoFi stock update of the week. Check it out. It's about 1 p.m. on the East Coast, and we have SoFi at $8.40, up over 0.5% on the day, which is pretty good, especially considering the fact that all the indexes are down big time. And don't worry, we'll break down the indexes later in the video, so make sure you guys stick on throughout the video. We're going to start off with SoFi, then get into the indexes, so hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and guys, don't forget to get up to 15 stocks for Mumu, link down below. Each of those could be valued up to $2,000, by the way. We'll talk more about that later. Again, they're linked down below, and with that being said, guys, cheers. Let's dive right into the video. So it's currently about 1 p.m., a little bit past 1 p.m., and SoFi's up around 0.6% now, 5 cents in the green. It's at $8.41, and that's actually after we took out the lows from Friday this morning. And remember, yesterday was President's Day. The markets were closed, so we didn't get any action yesterday. So this is the first trading day in 4 days since Friday, right? And you can see Friday, SoFi hit about $8.27. That was the low of the day. And this morning in the pre-market at about 5 a.m. on the East Coast, we hit $8.16. So clearly we took out the lows from Friday morning. Then we did see a bit of a recovery, which I guess is nice this morning in the pre-market. Notice how we got to about 8:35 by about 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast. Then we sold down to around 8:30 by open. Then we sold back down to about 8:20. And notice how we held that pre-market low during the open today, which is great. We held it in the first 30 minutes to an hour of trading. We chopped around 8:20, 8:25. Then we took off all the way to 8:45. We took out the pre-market high. We actually took out some key levels from Friday with that move about an hour or 2 hours ago. And now we're pretty much testing that level yet again, right? We've had some choppiness between 8:45 to about 8:30, and now we're getting more towards 8:45 again, and we have an ascending triangle. At least that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that, guys. But we have an ascending triangle here on the intraday chart on SoFi, which, who knows? If we do break 840, well, I guess we already are above 840, but let's say we break 845 in the very short term here, we could be taking off for another leg up. This could be getting ready for a bigger move to the upside. So I just put my alert at $8.45 for the very, very, very short term. And if I pull up the 5-day, 5-minute chart, you guys can see how over the past 5 days, we've been struggling in the mid-8s, no doubt about it. $8.40 to $8.50. Pretty much every single trading day on this time frame, we've tested that point, and, well, we've gotten rejected, right? Yes, we did break above 845, 850 momentarily on Monday in the Friday in the pre-market, but, well, that didn't last long at all. And again, we got down to almost under $8 in the pre-market today, but now we're fighting back to the mid-8s. So the moral of the story here is, guys, like I've been saying for quite some time on SoFi, and the short-term charts show this, it needs to break the mid-8s. It's got to get to 9 and preferably over 9. The bulls need that in the short term, to establish more, bullish momentum, right? To establish direction. The bulls need a break above the mid-8s, $9 preferably. That's at least in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, but I'm personally seeing a breakout above $8.50 to $8.75, especially above $9. And you can see it here on this 30-minute chart, right? We have higher lows being made clear as day. You see all these higher lows, but resistance at about $8.50, $8.60, like I said. So we have an ascending triangle on this time frame, on this 10-day, 30-minute chart. We see it clearly on the 5-day again that we have resistance in the mid-8s. And on the 20-day chart, you guys can see a wide open gap if we're able to break the mid-8s into the 9s, right? You guys can see this wide open gap right here. We could be pushing up towards the mid-9s in the short term, right? 945 is where SoFi double topped that after the earnings came out a couple of weeks ago. You guys probably remember that. That was not too long ago. So if SoFi could get above that mid-8s level into the 9s, yeah, this gap right here, this gap, in my opinion, could easily fill. And on the 4-hour chart, and by the way, none of this is guaranteed. Please do your own research. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. Keep that in mind. But here on the 4-hour chart, guys, we can see that wedge is still intact, right? We talked about this wedge time and time again in recent SoFi updates, but we haven't done an update in about a week at this point, or 5 days at least. But yeah, SoFi, we have this wedge, right? Higher lows, lower highs at the same time on the 4-hour chart. And we've covered this. Again, this is not really groundbreaking, earth-shattering news, but right now we're at the top of this wedge, right? We're testing it again in the mid-8s, high 8s. This spot's a big spot of resistance. And the bulls, quite frankly, like I've said, they need to get out of there. So, yeah, alerts at 8:45. I'll put another one at 8:75. Let me do that now. Mark is at or above $8.75. And I'll do another one at $9. Let me do that now. Mark is at or above $9, and we'll see how this plays out in the very short term. Now it's pushing up almost 1%. Not too bad of a day here for SoFi, again, considering the fact that all the indexes are in the red pretty big time. So before we dive into the indexes, don't forget to get up to 15 stocks for Mumu, guys, and there's a bunch of other perks by using that link down below. Once you open up your account and fund it with at least $100, you get 5 stocks. And listen to this, fund your account with at least $1,000, you get 10 more stocks, totaling 15 stocks, and each of those could be valued up to $2,000. So 15 stocks, each up to $2,000, plus a bunch of other perks by using that link down below or by going to stocksurfest.com/Mumu. So get your stocks, use that link, and full disclosure, that is an affiliate link. It helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys as always. And with that being said, cheers. Let me know what stocks you get in the comments, and let's dive into these indexes, which again, man, we're looking pretty red right now. So the Russell is hovering at about 2,000 points, down 1.5% on the day. And to be honest, by the looks of it, this is simply a pullback. If you guys remember, last week we broke out of this wedge. We had a wedge on the Russell that we broke out of as we got up to about 2,060 points last week, right by the highs from the end of last year. So we broke out of the wedge. We're still above the moving averages. Keep that in mind, guys. And now we're kind of just seeing a healthy pullback. We're pretty much right by the 50 SMA. We're well above the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, but now we're right by the 50 SMA. And I'm kind of looking to see if the Russell, let me clear the set real quickly and show you guys this. Are we going to consolidate above the highs from the end of January, right? Which is kind of where we are right now, 2,000 points. If we chop around 2,000 a bit and start to make another move back to 2060, 2070, which again was the high from the end of last year, if we break out of that point, that would be great for the bulls. So, it's too early to tell what we're going to do. We're going to see, obviously, in a couple of days what happens here. But ultimately, I'm looking to see if we chop around at about 1990, 2,000 points and maybe start to make that move back to 2,050, 2,100 points, maybe even higher. So the Russell seems like a healthy pullback right now. Let's pull the NASDAQ up. Triple Q also looking like a pretty healthy pullback. You guys can see now it's down 1.4%, 1.5%, nothing crazy. We're pretty much right by the 180 SMA now on the 4-hour chart, which has held for the bulls over the past couple of months. So let's see if we continue this uptrend on Triple Q. SPYs pretty much seeing the same thing, right? We're right by the 180 SMA on the 4-hour chart, down almost 1%. The reality is, guys, these indexes got way overbought, and now we're selling off a bit. It's not the end of the world, right? It is not the end of the world. We're still clearly holding an uptrend. The Dow, obviously, still holding an uptrend, still well above the 180 SMA, above the 50 SMA as well. So, yeah, man, the Dow might see a bit of a drop, further drop, arguably down to that, down to that 180 SMA, being at about 37,200. But even if it does that, even if the Dow sees another sell-off of 1,000 points, 1,500 points even, it's still going to be in an uptrend above that 180 SMA. We're still well above the highs from July as well, which you guys can see if I draw this out. That was around 35.6. So, yeah, keep your eyes on these indexes, guys, on SoFi. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 50,000 subs this year, and I'll catch you all later.